Hello and welcome back. Today I am going to be installing this Syrac adjustable gas block into my AR-15 rifle. I guess this will be my second go-round at gunsmithing, if you want to call it that, although in my video that I did about installing the trigger on my M&P pistol, as shown here, I said this was my first time of doing any kind of gunsmithing. I might have told a little white lie because on this rifle here, as you can see, I have just a standard micro gas block on there. That's not how this rifle came. This rifle actually came with a standard A2 front post. I took this front post off and replaced it with the micro gas block. So I have an idea of what I'm doing for this one, but in any case, I figured I'd make a video and show you guys how it's done, assuming I can get it done right. Again, I'm no expert, but I think I can manage this. So let's go ahead, first things first, and firearm is clear, no magazine. Let's go ahead and break it down. Also, as you can see here, I've added an oversized latch onto the charging handle. So that allows me when I need to cycle around, I can just throw my palm against it, slam it back. Alright, so now that we have all this exposed, you can see here how the firearm sort of operates, and I'll dig into it a little bit deeper, but in case you do not know, when you fire around and the projectile, the bullet, travels down the barrel here, it reaches this area. In the top of the barrel, which you'll see when I get this gas block off, is a hole. Some of the gases that are pushing the bullet down the barrel come back up through the gas block here, travel back down this gas tube into the upper receiver here, which then pushes the bolt carrier group back via the gas key. So this part here sits right over that tube down in there, and then as the gases come back, it pushes this entire bolt carrier group backwards, cycling the firearm. So with the adjustable gas block, what I'm going to be able to do is adjust how much gas is sent back to allow the firearm to cycle. Theoretically, that should reduce recoil and also reduce the how dirty the gun gets from shooting it. Alright, so before I get this part, I guess I'll show you. Up under here, you can see the hole. So that hole there corresponds with this hole on the top of the barrel. Usually these are over drilled so that there is enough gas to come back and cycle the firearm even with reloads or anything like that. Also, it takes kind of the guessing game out of the different manufacturers' margin of error in terms of their creating their rounds, in case one might be lower pressure than another in terms of a manufacturer. They over drill this hole, and typically there's more than enough gas coming back. As you can see, the end of this is pretty dirty. We'll get that all shined up. Alright, so I got the gas block off, the old one here. As you can see, I took some of this, I guess it's just contact paper. It's what you put on shelves of cabinets so your plates don't sit directly on the wood. It's kind of rubbery, it's got a squish to it. Cut off a piece of this, wrapped it around the gas tube, and just pulled after I had hit it with some brake free. You can kind of see that in there. So it pulled right off. Now that this is off, I can set this aside and clean this up. This hole is where that roll pin sits. This hole sits directly on top of the hole in the top of the barrel. This little kink in the barrel is so it can hug the barrel underneath your handguard and then come back up in through the, I believe this is a delta ring, back up through there into the upper receiver. Alright, so with all this taken apart, I'm going to need everything except the gas block and the corresponding parts. So let's go ahead and open this up. Alright, so as you can see here, this is the detent adjustable Syrac Ordinance Gen 2 gas block. It is a .750 barrel diameter, which is what I have. That's pretty standard. As you can see, it slides right on. This is the clamp-on version versus the one that I had, which was kind of a set screw version. You can see the difference here if I apples to apples. So I can tell you this one was about $10 to $14. I don't remember exactly what. And this one was significantly more. This one was on sale for $86. So this tiny little piece of metal is $86, whereas this one was $14. But I mean, you can see it in the construction difference. Alright, so now that everything's taken apart and cleaned off, let's go ahead and put the new one on. As you can see, they send you a nice extra long Allen wrench, and that is to adjust the adjustable gas system. In case you have a floating handguard, you can get down behind it. I don't have one, so I might put one on in the future, but we'll see. I won't need that super long one. They also give you 2 roll pins as well in case you need those. That I might need. So let's go ahead and put this thing together. Long and the short of it is, I got this thing all the way on with this. Well, the top of this hole didn't match up with the top of this hole when I put the whole thing back together. So this ring here was pulling down on the gas tube. Well, when I was pushing it down the barrel, the gas tube came forward just a little bit, so I couldn't get my roll pin in there. So I had to take the whole thing back apart. Took some, again, some more finesse, but I got it apart. I got the roll pin in there. That gas tube is in. It's not going anywhere now. I have filed, you can probably see my metal shavings here. Let me wipe those off before I put this back together. But I have filed the opening of that hole so that when I get this in there, it's not going to be pressing on the top of the gas tube. I'd rather not wear the gas tube down quickly. If it gets hot, metal's going to expand. I'd rather give it a little extra room. You can kind of see from this angle maybe the filing that I did on it. Alright, good news. I filed it down enough. See how much easier that slides in and out? That's how it should be. I took a little bit off of this area up here where the gas tube passes through, but I also took some off the bottom where it touches the barrel so that it wasn't all off of the top part. I didn't want to get it down too far. So now that everything's on, this is how it should work. That's exactly how it should slide. It should slide that easily. If it doesn't, there's something wrong. You're going to need to finesse it. And actually, finesse in this case was a file. Alright, so now that I've got this on, I need to center it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this out, because this was opening up the clamp so that I could slide it over the larger part. That's out. Now, I can still push it just a little bit, but it's a little tighter. I'm going to, again, line the top of this up with this and the top of the upper receiver. So it's just a matter of basically holding it up to your face and finding those points, looking down, and just making sure everything is lined up. You really want you want this to be very straight. You want your gas tube to be lined up both with the top of the receiver perfectly in line with the top of the barrel. That way you can ensure your gas block is in the proper position. So now that that's done, I can put my muzzle brake back on. Alright, so I guess I can talk about this too. When you put your muzzle brake on, as you can see here, I've got ports on the side and 2 ports on the top. You would think that these 2 ports on the top should line up at the top of the barrel, but it depends on if you're a left-handed shooter or a right-handed shooter. I am a right-handed shooter, so when I fire the gun recoils back toward me, up, and slightly to the right. So to combat that, I get the timing down on the muzzle brake, and basically I put these 2 holes here between, if you're looking at a clock, let's see, I'll do this for you. If you're looking at the clock this way and 12's up here and 1 o'clock is over here, you want to put it somewhere between 1 o'clock and 12 o'clock. And then if you're a left-handed shooter, it'd be between 11 o'clock and 12 o'clock. So because I'm a right-handed shooter, I'm going to put this right around 12:30, 1 o'clock position. Alright, so let me see if I can show you here. Top of the barrel, for me, I'll use this. If I'm looking straight down, I've lined my gas tube up with this 5.56 NATO stamped on the top. Top of the gun for me is about right there. So you can see those holes are just slightly off, somewhere between the 12:30 and 1 o'clock position. And that's how you time a muzzle brake. Alright, so let's look at an evolution here. I've got my adjustable gas block in now. It started with the 8.2 front post. I then moved to the micro block system. And now I'm into the adjustable gas block. There we go. So now the next step is to take it out and tune the gas system. The way to tune an adjustable gas block on an AR-15 rifle, the easy way, is to load 1 round into a magazine. It could be a P-mag or a standard GI mag, it doesn't matter. You then fire your shot with your gas block set up the way that it is. If your bolt carrier group does not lock back open, as it does right here, that means I do not have enough gas coming back to the bolt carrier group. So I make an adjustment, I then fire another shot with 1 round in the magazine, and as you can see, the bolt carrier group has locked back open. To ensure it's done properly, I then fire 2 shots in succession to make sure that everything is as it should be.
That could have been me.